where you close your markets to competitors, and that is to the detriment of each and every one of your citizens, most obviously the most vulnerable. And we want you to move on from closed procurement procedures or G2G agreements, where you cut off the possibility for this country to become more competitive, because you cut off the possibility for EU companies to come with investment, technology and expertise. So these are our expectations, and we hope the summit in April will actually signal to our investors that Bangladesh is genuinely open for business. So the third issue is education and skills. Of course, it's the cornerstone of sustainable development, and we need to equip our youth with the skills and knowledge to thrive in this complicated century. So here, I think there is a lot we are doing already in primary education to get the basics right, but that is something that the government actually needs to take responsibility for more and more. Where we can make a difference, I think, is in vocational and educational training, with one eye on ensuring that the young people who come out of education in this country meet the needs of the labour market, and also meet the needs of our labour market, because the European Union is an ageing continent and we need skilled individuals to come to fill the needs we have in ICT, in healthcare, for example, in hotel and restoration too. So there are many needs that we have, and we need to manage this in a safe migration, in a safe and mature manner. I want to also mention, in this context, when it comes to migration, that we are now setting up a talent partnership precisely to bring skilled migrants to the EU, and precisely so that the relationship we have with your authorities on migration is not one in which we are saying no. I think we are all beyond that stage. We all understand our market needs. We understand that migration is a global phenomenon, and we understand that migration has always existed and will always exist. This is about how we manage it in a more mature manner. I want to mention as well, when it comes to education, that I have been recently here in Dhaka and in Chattogram and in Sylhet, making sure that your young citizens understand the opportunities that exist to come and study in the European Union. So this is the Erasmus Plus programme. Bangladesh is very successful in accessing this programme, and we want you to move from number 3 in terms of beneficiaries to number 1. This is the ambition we have. Digital transformation, well, here, as I mentioned, we have a lot of work going on e-governance. It is an opportunity to harness the power of technology for development. We see that by working on digital initiatives together, we can actually bridge divides, bridge inequalities in this country, which is a priority for the European Union. We hold fast to the Sustainable Development Goals. Reducing poverty is written into our treaty, colleagues. So we are not changing our treaty. We are your reliable partners once more. So we bridge digital divides, we promote e-governance, in so doing, we tackle corruption. And I think it is important for me to underline that we are very focused on. So I want to underline that the European Union stays the course on transition. If you like, the metaphor is that we have the same destination that we always have. It's like a sat-nav that is now recalculating the journey because we've gone past the exit on a motorway. But the destination remains the same. The commitment to sustainable development remains the same. Poverty reduction is in our treaty. I don't think I need to go on and on, but we think that by investing in green tech, in renewable energy, and in sustainable agriculture, we help you, it helps us. This is absolutely in our interest as well, that you are a stable and prosperous partner, and we are able to identify how we work together on biodiversity and climate change, where we face the same challenges as you. And Europe is the most climate vulnerable continent, and Bangladesh, I think as you all know, is incredibly vulnerable to extreme weather events. maybe the sixth issue is regional cooperation. Here, of course, we encourage good neighbourliness. There is no part of the world that exists happily, is prosperous, is able to plan ahead, where there is excessive friction between neighbours. So we have managed this on the European continent, and not just in the member states, but beyond the member states, ex-member states, also countries that never decided to join the EU, even in the Western Balkans, which was my last region of cooperation. We are in the business of encouraging good neighbourliness. It is not a straightforward path, and none of us should expect this to be easy, because these are things you have to work at. Building confidence between countries that were previously, or at one time, at war takes time and effort, and it needs to be renewed all the time. So, good neighbourliness is important. Regional cooperation is important. I think you have mentioned neo-functionalism. It's a long time since I was at university, but absolutely correct. It is how we make the world into what we want it to look like. So not with immediately grand political designs that it is so easy for cynics to knock down, but by being very practical about identifying what will make a difference. And here, in this region, we want to promote an agenda which I want to note that it's for Bangladesh to choose this partnership. We have an excellent relationship with the interim government. We have very, very strong exchanges with your bureaucracy. We have a very strong relationship with your private sector and with civil society as well. And we need, if anything, to see that government, private sector and civil society works in a more consistent manner together, because this is the model that we apply in the European Union. We think it works. We are not giving lessons. That's not our job, but we are here to offer our experience, whether that is in the form of errors or whether that is in the form of things that have worked remarkably well for a continent that is wealthy and not without influence. So let me just say, my message is one of confidence, because it's important that someone is speaking up for rules in today's world. And it's important that countries like yourselves understand that you have powers and you have choices that you can make, and that the European Union, with its lack of hidden agenda, is a European Union in which you can trust. We want to see Bangladesh 2.0 emerge, and we want to be your consistent partner well beyond the lifetime of this interim government. Thank you very much. Orders in Bangladesh, so that when workers end up losing their jobs, they at least have the minimum to keep their heads above water. And that, unfortunately, is not yet the case. So we need the employers to share data on workers who lose their jobs, so that our EU-funded social protection schemes actually can deliver employment benefit to those families and individuals. That is a start. We want this to be a pilot for a model of social protection that Bangladesh will then fund, because it is clear that a model which has been incredibly successful until now, which is based on cheap labour and duty-free, quota-free access to the EU market, that will have to evolve. Nothing stays the same forever. Labour costs go up. Access to the EU market, yes, we are expecting that there will be changes in terms of governance and human rights and environmental protection. And we are regulating this, because our offer of everything but arms was actually, it is one way. So we did not expect reciprocal market access. It was because you were a very poor country. Now you are developing. Now, indeed, we do expect that you will upgrade your general respect for the environment. And even if we did not regulate this, and I hope I did not misunderstand Professor Titumir, but even if we did not regulate this, and this is in no way about a punitive approach, but even if we decided to do nothing, our consumers are extremely well informed, and the next generation, if not my generation, is voting with their wallets. So they are not going to buy products made in Bangladesh with child labour in factories that ignore our environmental pollution concerns. It's not going to happen. They're going to move to buy products that are manufactured elsewhere, perhaps where it is guaranteed that there's no child labour, that there are serious fines when child labour happens, that are dissuasive. We're not there yet. We're not even there with the draft Bangladesh Labour Act amendment. And frankly, Bangladesh needs to have a little bit more urgency about it in addressing these issues, because if not, it's a reputational risk. Consumers are informed, they vote with their wallets, you can have as much duty-free and quota-free access to the EU market as you like. The days of fast fashion will not last forever. So we need to plan ahead, and we need to plan for Bangladesh to be considered a responsible employer, a respectful country when it comes to the environment, and ready to work with us on human and labour rights. And I think we have an excellent relationship, but we lack urgency. Again, things need to move now, because graduation is not something that we decided. This is the question. So we did not decide this. Bangladesh decided this. It's on the basis of data. The train is a United Nations train. The train has left the station. And we will have to see if Bangladesh wants to get off the train. That's not what I have heard from your authorities. Currently, we are planning for graduation in 26 and a 3-year transition period to 29. And we are working as diligently as we possibly can to ensure that there is a smooth transition from everything but arms